Good morning everybody and welcome back to the longevity scrolls, and this is quest number 5, and this one is the illusion of easy weight loss and the problem with how modern medicine has introduced tools now, powerful tools that can make you lose weight extremely quickly. And a dangerous mindset has come of this, and it's not the healthiest thing, especially if your goal is longevity. And a dangerous mindset has come along with this. And obviously, if you've followed these scrolls so far, then you know that I'm like extreme weight loss or being extremely skinny or losing as much weight as possible as quickly as possible isn't the healthiest thing to do. It's not the best thing for longevity. This is things I've already discussed, and I've already talked about what extreme calorie deficits create. So when you're on these medications, you just do not feel hungry. You don't want to eat. So people are using this to eat shit. They'll still have a very, very poor diet. Whilst being on these medications and being in an extreme calorie deficit. Now, with things I've all talked about before, when you're in these extreme deficits, things that come and have muscle wastage, bone density, all these things, low metabolism, it's all shocking stuff. Like when you're in such a deficit for such an extended period of time, you end up with a lot of these negative impacts, and these kind of medications do cause that. And if you change nothing, you carry on as you are, and you still eat crap food, and you do not fuel your body properly, and these things happen, when you eventually come off this medication, you're going to be worse than when you started. You're going to have less muscle mass, less bone density, a lower metabolism. So all that weight and everything you've tried to do is just going to pile straight back on, and you're going to be worse than you were before, which is exactly what we don't want. We want the opposite things of this. And the amount of adverts that I see online, there's different brands out there, they're all promoting the same thing, and they're all just saying, oh, you've lost so much weight, what was the secret? And it was taking this bloody weight loss medication. Now again, just because you look skinny doesn't mean that you're healthy. You could mean that you're frail, weak. You're not going to be independent when you're older if nothing else changes. Now, don't get me wrong, there may be a group of people out there where these medications may be beneficial. They may help to get them on the right track, but with the right guidance, there'll be practitioners out there that keep a close eye with their patients, and they will monitor things, and then they will advise certain diet changes and meal plans to help, enough protein and fuel and the correct food that the body needs. And they will also recommend you've got to train alongside it and stuff like this. Now, you should always be doing these things. You should be strength training to try and offset the muscle wastage, building muscle mass. You're supposed to be trying to increase bone density, not reduce it. So there'll be some practitioners out there and some people that this may be beneficial for. But for the general population, when basic diet and exercise would do that for you, just because it's not as quick, would be ideal. But there are still people out there just taking these medications and popping them like Skittles. And like I say, there are people out there, doctors, practitioners and stuff like that are just handing them out. They are just handing them out with absolutely no guidance. And if they're not losing weight fast enough, then they up the dosage. And this is just a very, very dangerous path that we're going on. And I know this because a family member of mine, now I don't like to go too much into the personal details about people. I don't want to promote that all over my videos and stuff like that. But a family member of mine has ended up going on this medication, and they were saying, oh, look, they were losing weight and stuff like that. Now, I try not to get involved in it too much because I haven't got many good things to say about the way that this is being done. And I said, has the doctor give you a meal plan, talk to you about nutrition or anything like that? What you're currently eating? Oh, well, I don't really eat a lot because I just do not feel hungry at all. I just don't want anything. So for a breakfast, I'll have 4 Weetabix with some skim milk and a couple of berries on top. Where's the protein? Where's the fats? All that is a bowl of refined carbs, and the doctors don't seem to say, the doctor that's put them on this medication doesn't seem to be a problem with that. And he says, oh, that'll keep me going for a little bit. There's absolutely nothing there, nothing to fuel the body, nothing to repair it, nothing. They're just giving them artificial vitamins to try and make up the difference. I know, just like, right, you should really be having something more nutritious to help, having the protein to help create protein synthesis. You're supposed to be doing something. They give you any exercise plan? They give you anything, any strength training? No, they aren't giving all of that. It's just if I'm not losing enough weight, they actually upped the medication. And I'm sorry, but that is extremely dangerous. Doing this going on that extreme of calorie deficit where you do not eat anything, and then on top of that you don't actually eat the foods that you're supposed to be eating, you're still eating refined processed crap with absolutely no nutritional value in it, and then on top of that you are not training or exercise or walking or doing anything of the sort, and the doctor that has prescribed you these medications hasn't actually recommended any of this, there's a lot of questions. You're going to end up worse. But because they're losing weight, a little bit of weight, which again, diet and exercise would have done, and it would have done it better, nobody else seems to see a problem with this. They do not seem to think it. Just because they're getting a little bit lighter and they're losing a little bit of weight, nobody's questioning it because they think it's fine and they think that that's healthy, but it's not. And like I said, the mindset that comes with this is that because they're not hungry and they are losing weight and they're doing it without exercise and they are still doing it whilst eating crappy foods, the mindset comes of, well, I can still eat what I want. I can still do what I want and still lose weight. I can eat crap and still lose weight. It's a very, very dangerous mindset. And you're going to be screwed, absolutely screwed when you come off it, because nobody talks about the professionals that are in the area. Nobody talks about that. Over 80% of people that come off this medication regain that weight and more because the metabolism's lower. They've got no muscle mass, so they have less of a glucose sink. You know, they are weaker, they're frailer, the body doesn't need to work as hard. You're just going to put that weight back on. And again, you're going to just... Shrinking the body is not a healthier outcome all the time. There'll be a certain few people where these kind of interventions may be beneficial, but for general population it's not. Smaller, lighter body is not always a stronger one, is it? And that is not what we want, especially as we age. When the body is already in decline, you do not want to make this worse by doing these kinds of things. So if somebody is saying that they can drop you a load of weight super quick with no effort whatsoever, I would really question how they're doing it and what they're doing it with. It's just not good. So if your goal is longevity and being as strong and able and resilient as possible for the long haul, then trying to drop as much weight as you possibly can as quick as you can isn't always the way to go. Whole food nutrition, training, exercise is the only thing that's going to keep you mobile and less frail as we age. Good morning everyone, and in today's fucking shit